Welcome to What's Up Pasadena. We have a jam-packed episode for you with information about things you should know and things you might be surprised to learn.
On this episode, we share some skills to protect yourself on the street, experience the colorful blending of old and new at BoldPas, chat with some local characters and foreign visitors, and attempt to solve the mystery of the Parrots of Pasadena.
No one wants to be in this dangerous predicament. The importance of self-defense cannot be stressed enough, and so we're going to give you some tips to keep you safe. In case someone does force you into a trunk, here's a couple things you should do. Inside every car made after 2002, there should be a trunk release. It may be a glow-in-the-dark button or a pull-down lever that you can feel around for. If there's no release, try to push or kick out the brake lights by removing the panel and wires and sticking your hand out to wave to cars behind you. If you can get a hold of the car jack, you can pump up the jack until the trunk pops open. I'm sure it would be everyone's preference not to get stuck in a trunk altogether, so here's some additional tips to keep you safe.
Try to walk in pairs in well-lit areas. Communicate your plans and location to loved ones. Be alert, put your phone away and have your keys in hand so you're not distracted while rummaging through your bag. Always lock the doors to your house and your car. If there are postcards or something unusual in your car, don't get out to retrieve it. Remove it once you've gotten to a secure location. Listen to your instincts. If something seems suspicious, go to the closest location you can find to get assistance. Don't advertise your daily plans and personal information on the internet. Instead of handing your purse or wallet to a robber, throw it away from you and run.
Your first response should be to run away and scream for help, but there may come a time where you have to fight. We stopped by Pasadena's American Kempo Karate to learn about this self-defense martial art and to pick up some techniques.
American Kempo Karate is an eclectic martial art that came from Hawaii, and before there, its origins was China, and it came through the Philippines. And it's basically now a streetwise self-defense. It was modernized in the 60s when Ed Parke brought it to America, and he noticed that in America they fought differently. They weren't very honorable. They would kick you in the groin, pull your hair, gouge your eyes, whatever would work in the street. So he accommodated that and adjusted his art to fit the modern day circumstances that he found himself in. We teach it in a very logical, scientific way. We teach you the physics of it. We teach you which technique is going to work best against what attack. So we're not confined to only kicking or only punching or only grappling. We'll use it all, even weapons, depending on the circumstances. People take martial arts for a lot of different reasons. Meeting new friends, a lot of people are new to the neighborhood. Obviously it's a fun exercise so they can stay in shape and work their cardio, but also it's very practical. You might need self-defense. Some people have situations that they've been attacked in their life and they're not going to feel comfortable again until they can protect themselves safely in the street.
What I've learned through taking this self-defense class is how to defend myself in a lot of different situations if I need to at any point. I was 6, so I think I had just seen some like Karate Kid movies and I really wanted to start doing karate, so I came here. I feel more confident, definitely, because I know I can defend myself.
The thing about martial arts, it's the original concept is for a smaller person to be able to defend themselves against a larger person. Of course, it takes practice and you have to understand the concepts and principles of it, but that's what it's for. So you can defend yourself against a larger, stronger person, not just someone your size or smaller, that'd be in the bullying realm. I've had quite a few students come in and explain to us that they've had to use it and they're always very thankful. They usually were emotional about it, but it's not fighting so much. It was the self-defense part just came out instinctively, and they were able to leave without having to get into a fight. If you're a Pasadena resident, please come on down to American Kempo Karate and try your first class for free. All right, we have a grab technique for the novice. It's a right hand to the left shoulder grab. We're going to step away and get away from the punch, clear the arm, kick him in the groin, and then land with a chop to the throat. Let's see that one more time, but this time we're going to turn it into a right punch. It can still work for a punch. We'll step away, block, kick to the groin, and chop to the throat. It'll also work for a left roundhouse punch, the same combination of moves. We just have to adjust our block to an extended outward block, kick to the groin, and chop to the throat.
Another way to protect yourself physically is by remembering this simple song: knees, elbows, eyes and nose. More specifically, this means to kick at the kneecap, use your elbows, attack the eyes, and strike at the nose.
In the case that you've been zip tied, not to worry, just make sure it's tight. You can use your teeth if necessary. And what you do is you tense up and then you pull down in a forward motion, and voila, you're free. So hopefully some of these suggestions will help you escape a scary situation.
Pacific Oaks College and Children's School have been part of the Pasadena community for over 70 years. Pacific Oaks was founded on the principles of inclusion, social justice, and respect for the unique potential of every individual. Many of our students are adult learners who come to Pacific Oaks because we strive to teach the principles of fairness and equal opportunity. We encourage adult learners to find an area of study that fits their strengths and ambitions so that you are able to become more engaged in your community.
Learning is a lifelong journey. At Pacific Oaks, we provide guidance to adult learners through our student services resources. Whether you are beginning your journey into higher education or transitioning into a new career, you are supported in your education and can focus immediately on growing and leading.
Pacific Oaks empowered me with the skills and knowledge to become an effective agent of change. We are all part of this community. We are part of Pasadena. We are Pacific Oaks.
This is the first ever BoldPas, an art takeover of Old Pasadena.
The name BoldPas came out of the idea of something surprising in Old Pasadena. That is an intersection of design, history, architecture, and art taking place in public spaces. We wanted to use bold color as well as everyday materials used in large-scale installations that would take up our public and wonderful walkways so that people could discover the alleyways of Old Pasadena. We were wonderfully overwhelmed by the quality and the quantity of submissions that we received for this first-time event. So we've got the funding together to select 12 installations. These are all local Los Angeles artists. Many of them are up and coming, and some of them are new, just out of school. We're really thrilled to have Andrew Ham with us today. I wouldn't even want to call it street art because it's almost fine art taken to a street urban location. So he is live painting, is what they call it. He's on site all afternoon. People can talk to him, ask him questions. He did canvas cutouts of figures and their people that he's painting in preparation for a new exhibition. We had a lot of architecture students and design students, and they all really were inspired to do something wonderful in our alley walkways.
The inspiration for this installation was going back to what I have known of Pasadena, and I also wanted something that was childlike, that people could play with, and for me, Pasadena is I've had all these memories of being a kid.
We live in the desert, but in Old Town there's no cacti anywhere, and so I thought it'd be interesting to kind of bring that element into the space. They gave us 2 months to complete the whole entire thing, and it took me about 300 hours to actually do it. Well, there's a long process behind creating it. First, you have to make the cardboard forms, then you have to cover them in paper mache, let them dry. Thankfully, we have a bright sun here in LA, so it only takes about 24 hours if you leave them outside, and then you paint them. And then after painting, then it just comes to decorating. The googly eyes, the pom-poms, lots of Sharpie. It's just fun kind of creating all the little details.
We asked our merchants to participate by creating what we're calling art stops. We knew that all of this is a great opportunity for people to come out and take photos. So these are photo opportunities for Instagram, for social media, to come out and enjoy and see some of the creativity that our own businesses came up with. So we had 30 businesses participate in this inaugural event. We put up a Google map with all of the indications of where everything was taking place about a week ago, and we had 8,000 views before today even began. So we're seeing wonderful crowds out here. People are out with our maps in their hands, using their phones, and looking for the locations of these installations. So we feel like it's been a great success thus far, and we're getting the artists the attention that they deserve.
I used 30,000 straws, and then I spent 2 months of sewing, and then I was kind of lucky to have a Shepherd's Door shelter from Pasadena helping me to work on it. I always try to find relationships of different colors I'm trying to like create different perceptions almost for people to see. And then like, for example, this piece, when it interacts with the wind and then they start moving, it kind of creates this changing image that like everyone captures different throughout the day.
Just the idea of bringing art to the street, art to the community, and just like, I've always been about bringing art outside of the gallery, outside the museum, so that's what I love most about this.
I think BoldPas is great so far, and I look forward to the coming years and maybe participating again.
We definitely want to bring this event back as an annual event. We hope to grow it and have more installations, more artists, more art stops working with our merchants. So we're very excited to continue to bring this to Old Pasadena.
Hi, I'm Julie and this is Frank. We're from the Pasadena Humane Society and SPCA. You might know us for our pet adoptions, but did you know that we also offer many services to help pet owners in need? Programs such as low-cost spay-neuter, vaccination and microchip clinics, a pet food pantry, and more. Hey, if you have a pit bull, chihuahua, or even a free-roaming cat in our service area, the spay-neuter is free. And if you're experiencing a pet behavior problem, check out our free behavior helpline, register for one of our behavior classes, or come to one of our monthly education programs. We even offer programs for kids and volunteering. So if you need some support with your pet, let us help you. For more information or to get involved, visit pasadenahumane.org. Right, Frankie?
Man on the street!
Oh, I think it would be the winter one. I think I would say snowboarding, but since there's no winter here, so it would be, I like running, so running it is, yeah.
Oh, definitely gymnastics. Love gymnastics. I did it when I was small. And dance, but I don't think they do the dance here.
My sport would be basketball. I love it. I love watching those guys the Dream Team was probably the best era, I would say, with Magic and Jordan.
Couch surfing, that's not an Olympic sport. Bicycle riding, I commute by bicycle.
I would say equestrian.
Track and field, I did track and field when I was in high school.
I would say pole vaulting. And the reason being is that when I was in track and field, I always wanted to do it, but I never got the chance to do it.
If I were to say any Olympic sport, it would be discus or shot put, definitely, for track and field. I did all that in high school, and I loved it.
My personal theme song would be Randy Newman's I Love L.A.
Ooh, I started from the bottom, now we're here. I get Drake a lot, like every single day. Started from the bottom, now we here.
I don't know if you know the song, something is happening and it started happening when you walk by.
Dr. Dre episode.
I don't know, the Ultimate Champion song, and it's like the Rocky theme, right? Like yeah, that's what I would do. Everybody, that'd be awesome. Thunderstruck by AC/DC.
Thunderstruck!
Kashmir by Led Zeppelin.
The Long and Winding Road by the Beatles. The long and winding road, bum bum bum, bum bum bum.
We are the champions. Yeah, that one. No.
We are the champions, my friends.
I think I would promote the diversity of our community. I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that we are a very diverse community and we seem to work really well together. I think I wish that there was more of that in the world, and I think Pasadena is a shining example of that.
Paid day off for everybody.
I would make free parking happen around the city.
I would put more bicycle lanes in Pasadena. Yeah, protect the bicycle riders.
I would give a home to everybody. All the homeless people, I would just give a home and food.
I love the history. I love the historical buildings. I love being able to walk through Old Town. I love the Huntington Library. I love the Pasadena Museum of History. And I like the urban hipster feel to it.
I really like that place. I want to move in here at some point in the future. Yeah.
Really excited about the Metro bikes that are appearing all over the city, and just within this neighborhood, because I live a few blocks from here, there's a station down at South Lake, and there's one over next to Caltech, and I'm seeing people use the bikes. I think that's a great alternative to getting in your car and driving a short distance to Old Pasadena or up to the train. So I'm really excited about the direction the city's going with the biking.
It's beautiful here. I love Pasadena. You know, the one thing I can say is I don't like the traffic, but everything else about this place is amazing. The history, the people, I love it.
Being from South Africa, being here is incredible. I love Pasadena, one of the most beautiful towns in America I've visited this far. And especially Old Pasadena, all the history and everything, I love it. Beautiful.
Culturally, like, this is the place. Everybody sees this place every year, the first of the year. Like, we're like on the grand stage for the Rose Bowl. So it's a lot to be proud of. I love Pasadena.
Hi, I'm Oscar Herrera, and if you are ages 16 to 24 without a high school diploma, a GED, or a job, I have a free program for you. I'm enrolled in Pasadena Youth Build, earning more than 60 high school credits a year, getting certificates in the medical front office profession and leadership training. Call now to enroll in this free program at 626-437-3509 or visit pasadenayouthbuild.org.
Visitors to Pasadena may be surprised to hear a squawking in the sky and look up to see flocks of wild parrots. Locals have been familiar with these feathered citizens for many decades. In fact, the only thing more numerous than the birds themselves are the various theories about how they came to reside in Pasadena. Early chronicles of the birds can be found in the pages of the Pasadena Star News. Russ Liederbrand took particular interest in the subject in his Off the Beaten Path columns. In a column from 1965, expert Dr. John Hardy explains the presence of the birds. Few of them are migrants. Most of them escaped cage birds, and some have been released by their owners.
I was told that there was a pet shop, and the pet shop caught on fire, and the owner did not want the birds to die, so rather than see them die in a fire, he let them all go before it got too bad.
As far as I know, there used to be a pet store in the Pasadena area that burnt down, and then the parrots escaped essentially, and they've been flying around ever since.
Though different stores and locations are cited depending on who you talk to, one of the most common mentioned origins is the fire that occurred at Simpson's Garden Town in East Pasadena. However, an article from November 30th, 1959 details this fire and quotes employees as saying just one bird survived while the rest perished in the blaze. Others point to the closures of the Busch Garden Parks in Pasadena and later Van Nuys as possible origins of the parrots. Or could it have been a smuggler that brought the parrots from Mexico to Southern California? An article from May 27, 1958 details a police seizure of 1,500 Mexican parrots being illegally imported. Where did the parrots go after being held in police custody? We took a journey to the Natural History Museum in Los Angeles to meet with renowned ornithologist Kimball Garrett to hear his scientific opinion.
I take care of a collection of about 120,000 bird specimens that are used for research. But I also get involved as much as possible in some of the exhibits and programs we do here in aiding the research of others who use our collection, adding to the collection, and doing local research on birds here in the Los Angeles area. This is the red-crowned parrot. This is the one that we have several thousand of in Southern California, and a good chunk of those are in the Pasadena area in the San Gabriel Valley. It's native to northeastern Mexico. This is the one you'll see coming in by the hundreds to roost in parts of Pasadena, Altadena, Temple City, other areas there. Closely related is the lilac-crowned parrot, which is native to western Mexico. So they don't normally see each other, but they both occur together here, and we suspect they might even hybridize. They're very similar. You have to learn to look at the shape, the longer tail of the lilac crown, slightly different patterns of red and lilac on the head and so on. This is the yellow-headed parrot. This is a prize cage bird. We don't have as many of these, but there's still many dozens of them in the Pasadena area, and they're really good talkers, popular cage birds, and they have almost a human-like voice compared to the other parrots. Then we have a handful of other parrots. I've just picked a couple of these out. This is called the mitered parakeet. This one's from South America. On the slopes of the Andes. It looks very much like the red-crowned parrot, like the Amazons, but it has a much longer, pointier tail. The beak is relatively heavier. Their flight style is different. They sound different. We have many hundreds of these throughout the LA basin, the coastal areas, and up into the San Gabriel Valley, and plus a couple of other related species. And then this little guy here, this is the yellow chevroned parakeet, named for that yellow patch on the wing. These are also native to South America in the Amazonian basin. And they're very common in the LA basin and the San Gabriel Valley. They're much smaller than the other parrots, kind of a bright grass green with this yellow patch. They feed on a variety of plants that provide seed and nectar. So they'll get nectar from eucalyptus blossoms, from coral trees, but they love the seeds from the silk floss tree, which is widely planted throughout the LA area. So these are probably the most familiar and conspicuous of the upwards of 10 or 12 kinds of parrots that we have in Southern California, and Pasadena and the San Gabriel Valley are really ground zero for parrot abundance and diversity in our area. Our parrots, of course, have not migrated here on their own, and that's one thing that I want everybody to realize, that they're here only because we have brought them here. We seem to want to be able to pinpoint some exact origin of all our parrots, but in fact, they're here because of a long history of importation for the pet trade, and then probably many dozens, if not hundreds, of individual events that resulted in parrots escaping captivity, being released into the wild or escaping into the wild, and then finding the resources they need. So yes, the stories about the pet shop burning down, or the wind blowing the roof off the pet shop, or aviaries closing down and releasing birds, many of these things probably happen, but it's really hard to pin down those exact instances. Some of our species, like the red-crowned parrot that is so abundantly established here, we can trace back to the 1960s, in some cases even a little earlier, although their populations really started booming in the 70s and 80s. But others we didn't even see around here till the early 1980s, even in some cases more recently. And so it isn't just one instance where somebody opened up an aviary and everything flew out and they've been living happily ever after. There's many, many different instances of events that caused our parrots to be released. Parrots, they're really fascinating birds. They're very social. That, of course, correlates with being very noisy, too. So if you live around a few hundred parrots, you may not see the benefits of it as much as people who don't have to put up with that racket all the time, but their behavior is fascinating.
I'll look around, all of a sudden I'll see a couple of them go by, and it's really fun to watch during springtime because that's their mating season, and quite often you'll see two little tiny ones flying right in the back of them, just struggling to stay up with mommy and daddy. They're adorable.
Here we are decades later, and Pasadena's exotic bird population only seems to be growing. Next time you look up into the sky, take a moment to appreciate our tropical neighbors. Here's your events calendar for the month of October. LA Chocolate Salon on October 1st at the Pasadena Center Conference Building. Community Open House on October 1st at 89.3 KPCC. The 5th Annual Author Fair on October 13th at Pasadena Central Library. The Japanese Garden Festival on October 14th and 15th at Descanso Gardens. The Latino Heritage Parade on October 14th, ending at Villa Park Community Center. Craftsman Weekend on October 27th through 29th. Fall Festival on October 28th at Victory Park. Halloween Spooktacular on October 31st at Orange Grove Park in South Pasadena. That's your events calendar for the month of October. That's it for this episode. Look for a new show next month, and make sure to follow us on social media and visit us at pasadenamedia.org. See you next time. This program was produced by Pasadena Media.